Hey Greg, how hard do you think it's gonna be to change this valve? That's a good question, if I can get parts, but how do you know you got the right ones? So get the name off the valve and try to rebuild it?
Call Kevin.
What's a good time to come tonight?
5:35? The one in Farmingdale or Freeport?
Planning board tonight.
Kevin Shontek?
I'll get it.
You have to go to planning board?
Because they won't put the meter in without valves, but I don't know if they want another valve on the inlet
they
side,
don't
because they're gonna shut the main off.
Planning board tonight.
They'll- If they want to service the meter, they'll only shut the valve at the main off.
Okay.
Don't miss it.
Good luck with that.
You got that school piece between the 90s and
It's 11:14 a.m.
He was supposed to be at
It is
last time.
September 13th, 2017. I'd like to call, roll call for attendance at this time. Mr. Brooks?
Here,
Mr. Calabro? Mr. Flansbrough?
Here.
Mr. Katz? Mr. Schuster?
here.
Mr. Staffordson?
Yes.
Mr. Kirchner? Thank you, we have a quorum.
Justin, you want to do the honors?
Pledge
Allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Have a moment of silence for the men and women serving overseas. Okay, thank you. Hope we may all come back to this piece. Minutes for the 12th.
Minutes for the meeting on July 12th were distributed. There was no meeting in August. That meeting was canceled, so there are no minutes to that. Is anybody interested, have you had the opportunity to read the minutes as to their accuracy?
I did.
Motion is there, second. Seconded. Neil?
No.
No. Ed? Okay. All right. Show of hands, accept the minutes for the 12th.
Aye.
All in favor? Nays? None. Okay. Good to go for the minutes for the 12th. As council, we have a finance statement of accounts.
Yes, the statement of accounts reflects that we have opened up new accounts at Lakewood Bank. And we have done transfers from our account at Investors Bank. We've received land lease payments on schedule. And there's really no huge change in this. This does prove with all bank statements every time I receive bank statements, so this reflects true numbers. Our proposed bill list is a proposed bill list because we have a new bill that came in at the last moment, and until those numbers are updated, it's considered proposed. So that, I'm looking for acceptance.
Do they,
Acceptance on the statement.
accounts, right? Is that?
Yeah.
A motion to accept the statement of accounts.
Move we accept the statement of
All
account.
right, seconded, Mr. Schuster, all in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Nays, none? Nays, none? Okay, we're going to the bill list.
The bill list reflects our standard expenses, our monthly expenses for services that we have authorized in January. Also does include two progress payments for the P hangar project that is moving along. I understand that we're looking for completion very soon. And, the bill list amount at this point is $621,183 approximately.
We do have the recommendations from Representative Vernick for those progress payments to Iota.
Okay. All right. You want to do a roll call on the bill list
Motion
Need a
and a
motion.
second.
Yeah, I'll move the bill.
for a second?
Second.
Have a roll call here.
Mr. Brooks?
Yes.
Mr. Glasgow?
Yes.
Mr. Katz?
Yes.
Yes. Mr. Schuster?
Yes.
Mr. Stafford Smith?
Yes.
Mr. Kirschner?
Yes, except for item 3505. We'll vote on.
Thank you.
Budget to actuals, just informational.
Yes.
And the one thing that I would point out there is towards the end, you have the roadway repaving. Still in the middle of that project. I'll have some comments about that a little later in my report. But for future planning, it might be something that we want to take into our annual budgeting process, because the township and the public works department are working together with the county now, and we're looking to get as much leverage as we can, and the leverage here is something like 4 to 1 for our dollars, so it's a really good opportunity for us to invest back in the industrial park, upgrade roads.
Standard line item type.
Yeah, so I think it would be a good idea to, we've inserted it now because it came up now.
Let's make it
So
permanent.
this year it doesn't show in our budget, but it's in our budget plan, but it shows in our actual. So we dedicated this money by action this board a few months ago. But going forward, we should really look at that.
That's about a ride around. It is?
Yes, and I'll get to that in my report. I'll talk about that as well.
All right.
But that doesn't require a vote or anything.
Okay. We have a
We
presentation.
do have a presentation. I want to introduce Mike Forcella. Mike runs, he'll give you the whole official title, it's 2 cards worth, but he runs the continuing and professional education program. It's based out of Ocean County College. And we've been doing some work with a few companies in the industrial park, and they run all kinds of training programs, whether it's getting initial welding training, and getting people geared up to where they can actually go into companies in the industrial park and take some of those jobs, or it's going into companies and helping with ESL programs and things like that. And he has programs for managers, which I think are fantastic, to actually go the other way. So not only teaching the Spanish-speaking public workable English, but actually going to the managers and helping them with basic Spanish so that they can better manage their workforces. Things like that are of great value, and we want to do something to kind of promote his services out to more and more companies in the park and beyond. But for us, our focus, of course, is on the industrial parks and that community of companies. And so we thought it made sense to have Mike come in here and give us a little presentation about what they do, the scope of the services, and just kind of get the board's direction on how we should take this out to the community. So Mike, with
Stephen,
that,
thank you. I have to tell you, what an introduction. With that, I could sit down almost. I'm going to take you with me on the road.
thanks for coming.
This is my pleasure, and I have to say that thank you to Stephen and Peter for having me here today. Members of the commission, this is not my first rodeo in Lakewood. I've been here for almost 2 years, on and off, coming to chamber events, being active in the chamber the best I could, working with Stephen sometimes, Menashe at the time, etc. I'm more optimistic this time than ever before that I'm not going to fall off the horse, so to speak. We're going to stay on the horse. And mostly because I must say that Stephen gets it. When Stephen heard about what we do here and spoke with Menashe, and Menashe gets it too, he recognized that I'm the best kept secret in Ocean County, and not to mention, I'm the best kept secret in your town of Lakewood. What I mean by that, what I do for a living, and I'm not the head of continuing and professional education, but thank you for promoting me. I'm the manager of business engagement for Ocean County College. I work in the continuing and professional education department. In that capacity, I'm responsible for working with businesses in Ocean County to provide training for their employees. In many instances, in fact in most instances right now, that training is grant-funded, tuition-free. Which means we have a menu of courses that we put together in professional development that runs from management to computers to customer service to social media It's a whole gamut of courses that basically are available to small businesses at no cost. The value of this, I'll just give you an example. I'm working with one of your ratables, I would say, S&S Dental, over at Airport Road, or right off of Airport Road. We're providing them so far about $24,000 worth of free training. And they're teaching their factory. They make the little dental drills. They're teaching their factory English as a second language. And they are innovative, and they're on their way. And they're going through a sort of a redevelopment in their factory. So from there, we're now talking to them about Spanish for managers. So how balanced is this? They want to teach the non-English speaking people English. And they want to teach the managers some Spanish so that they have a cohesive workforce here in your township. They now approached me and said, we'd like to teach everybody CPR, first aid, and defibrillation. I said, that's not a grant fundable class under our categories. However, I was able to source a program for them, and we hope that they'll take that. They're remodeling the place. They're putting new CNC machines in. That requires additional training, a little more sophisticated training. I did some CNC training 2 years ago, but not on machines in the classroom. So we're putting together a program, I'm talking more about a program, I'm doing some classroom training, and then actually, if possible, using their employee to train the rest of their employees. I hope that'll be grant funded. What we do in this capacity is, they're 8 to 12-hour classes. It takes people a long way. I've worked for a company here, these Ocean Salon Systems, and it came to me and said, boy, this business could use some customer service training. All of a sudden, I meet a guy who had done that. And we turned around and called him up. I said, Gino, I got a guy. And we went over there, and before you know it, he couldn't do the course, but they said, Mike, you do it. And I did 2 courses for Gino's customers. They came from as far as Staten Island to take this course, 8 hours of customer service, which we customized to the salon industry. Right? This is what we do. So what I want to do here in Lakewood, especially with your commission and in the industrial zone, is penetrate the manufacturing market. We have a lot of manufacturers here in your buildings. We're currently doing a project, a partnership with Brookdale Community College. We're with a Ready to Work grant. We are training welders at our Ocean County Boat-Tech School. We rent the classroom, we rent it on off time, we utilize their instructor, pay the instructor through the grant, and we take workforce development candidates that are unemployed long-term, meaning they've exhausted their unemployment, and they have had an unemployment claim in 2 years. If they qualify and they meet the requirements are, we use our employers themselves to select the candidates from the class. I have to tell you, I was a recruiter for 3 years. The first one we did, we're on our 3rd one, the first one we did, I was sitting back there cringing. I said, I wouldn't give any of these guys a job. I didn't mean that. I was a hired gun. I was Paladin. Anybody remember Paladin? I was Paladin. Okay? I don't get a job, I don't get paid. And I was cringing, and then all of a sudden I listened to your employers, and they saw things in these candidates that went right over my head. So the good news is they select the candidates. The candidates go through a mechanical aptitude test, and we select the candidate. We put 15 to 20 students in a class at the Boat-Tech School. Happy to say we have a 90% employment rate. And it would be 100%. I mean, Lieutenant Governor Gradagwell asked me, I saw her right after we graduated a class, I went to a function, she was there, she asked me how it was going, and I told her, I said, are they getting jobs? And I said, we have 90%. She said, Mike, that's not good enough. I said, I'm sorry I said that, but yeah, you're right. And the 2 people why it's not 100% and some of the others is because, and I don't mean this disrespectful, a couple of older candidates that went through the program, one decided, I think I'll retire instead. And the other ones thought that welding was not safe. He was afraid of it after a while. And I looked at that and I said, well, that's too bad. You really should have took yoga instead of this class because we kept 2 people from getting a career and getting a job. And another guy just notified us, he applied for a job at Joint Base McGuire-Dix, ended up finally getting a job when he was looking for a welding job, but he took the job at $20 an hour to work in their, commissary or do something out there. So the good news is, whatever it is, he got a job. So we're very happy that we're putting people back to work as a result of this program. One of the things we tried a couple of years ago was we used Gino's facility at Ocean Salons. I don't know if that's still available to me, but we advertised an information session. We did an okay job, but I didn't have the backing of the commission, I didn't have the backing of what might help me fill that room or get people to come in. And what we would like to try to do again is to come into your community, whether it be if Gino has that room available, or if you have a better area here, and put on a little show. And see if we can't get your employers in your UEZ zone to come over and see what we have to offer for them. Almost every single time that I get to talk to an employer, I will put a class in there. See, they finally say, holy cow, we didn't know. Now, I'll tell you another good one. This is an interesting thing for all of your people. There's a grant, Labor Department. I'm on the Ocean County Tourism Committee, actually on the Board of Trustees. I presented this the other night. I said, by the way, did you know? Not one person in the room, an administrative building in Toms River, had any idea about this. I went to Point Pleasant's Chamber of Commerce yesterday. They had no idea about this. So I think this is something very important that I want to send to you today to get this out as well, because it's a good one. The Labor Department came out with a paid internship program. What this means is if you hire a high school student, I think it's junior, senior, or a college student, and you pay them at least $8.80, I think that's minimum wage now, give or take, okay? You pay them $8.80, you will be reimbursed their salary for up to $1,500. And considering they usually work maybe 20, 25 hours a week, it's really an incentive to look for some interns. The interesting thing is real easy. I have one of these here for you, and I'll send this to you electronically as well. And this is really easy. I mean, this is scary, the terms and conditions, but as grants go, you fill out an application, Mr. Employer, you send it in, they approve it. If there's a candidate, and this should go into your high schools, if you can get it into the Lakewood high schools, all right, so that they promote it to their students, so that when a student goes looking for a job, he literally says, Mr. Employer, you know, if you hire me, you can get reimbursed from this grant. And if you bring me in as an intern, you can get reimbursed from the grant. Once you get it, this is between you and the Labor Department. I understand it's going smoothly. It's not, people are usually afraid of working with the state. Understand this is easy. The good news is there's money. A lot of it's still available for us here in Ocean County. The bad news is the North Jersey is kicking the hell out of it. I mean, they get it up there. And the bigger the companies, the more they're hiring. They're using up a lot of this money. So this is good for what we do with our employers. And it gives the commission, it gives the chamber, it gives you added value when you're able to say to employers, look what we have for you. So I believe this for you as well. The other thing we do is training. This is, I'm going to send this to you as well. This is an array of classes that we put together called Open Enrollment. Let me give you an example. We have Excel Basic. We have Excel Intermediate, Outlook, Microsoft 365. Interesting thing. A nonprofit called me early in the summer. Can you do 365? I said, yeah. She goes, they just put it in here. Not one person in this place, Ocean Inc., have you ever heard of the nonprofit? Not one person in here knows Microsoft 365. You're screwed. I said, how quick can you do it? She said, tomorrow? That's a little quick. I was able to get the instructor who took a day off, and immediately the day after we did our first class, we have done 3 classes for them in 365. They since have graduated, and they're taking management, they're taking problem solving, they're taking teamwork. We're pioneering and very successful, which I hope to take through to the healthcare community, urgent care. There's one in Toms River on Hooper Avenue. There's about 4 of them down in southern Ocean County, a couple up in North Jersey. They'd like me to go up there and do it too. They get it. We're teaching their entire staff, over 100 people, customer service. We put together a small workshop. They can only give us 4 hours each time. We put together a small 4-hour workshop, customer service. And how I got the job, ladies and gentlemen, I have to tell you. When I went in, the guy says, what do you think? What's this customer service you talk about? I said, you mean about the experience I just had? He goes, where? I said, well, doctor, I came into your room. I walk into your beautiful waiting area. I walk up to the desk. I says, Dr. Joe, please. And the lady says, I'll let him know you're here. Please be seated. I says, Doc, like a little boy. I sat down. I said, but you want to know something? She could make the connection. And the connection she could have made is, what a beautiful day it is out there. Thank you for coming. I'll get the docket for you immediately. Or how about, sir, if you'd like to change the television or have me change it for you, I can change the station if you don't care to watch that. Now, it's funny because they're watching Fox News. And as silly as that may seem, what if you're an MSNBC guy? See, there's no connection. So what happens is he goes, holy cow, I never thought of it that way. I say, yeah, because it's so many things to make the connection. Because now I feel real good when I walk in there. And that doctor is taking time with me, etc. So we're doing all of this. We're also doing with the grant certified nursing assistant training and certified home health aides. Right? This is with RTW. There are 1,000 jobs in Ocean County right now for certified nursing assistants. We can't get them fast enough. So we'll be promoting a lot of that. So with your help,
Let me get the word out.
with your help, I'd like to see what we can put together. And so here's what I need from you, if it's okay. If you like this, say, we would like to help you with an information session, give me the dates. I didn't come in with my calendar because although I know the basic holidays that you observe here, it's the ones that I don't know that get me every time I schedule something. So if you look at your calendar and say, let's consider doing something on this day. Let's plan for this day, we'll put together the program, we'll locate the facility, we'll talk, we will make it happen, let's sign up the companies.
I'll follow up with you in terms of how many is the correct number of people to try and get in the room. Maybe we'll see what the sign-up is. Maybe the sign-up is too much for one session, maybe we have to do a few of them. But
We should be so lucky that that's the case.
We'd like to get the
I
word out.
mean, really, we should be so lucky. I mean, sometimes the bigger the better. You know, if they think if they can't get in, maybe they say, let's go over here. You can't miss this for an hour, it's around the corner.
We have hundreds of companies in the park,
I can imagine.
so
I
I can
will
imagine
leave this
this
for
will
you.
fill the room. Thank you, Mike.
And here's just another interesting one I do. How to go to chamber meetings and business association meetings, right? A workshop, real interesting. Church and Court right around the corner is having a networking session on the 28th. And they said, Mike, would you come and do this for us? I said, sure. I said, I do this for basically free. I said, but why don't I set up a reservation system? And all the businesses that are coming, let them sign up. I said, the college will make a hot $300 because I can submit that as a grant under customer service. And the interesting thing is I go to all these meetings and chambers, and there's nothing worse, to be correct, when we go in there and we don't understand what somebody's saying, or we don't come out with a lead, or we haven't made a difference. So I'll leave this with you, I'll leave you the rest of the stuff, I'm going to leave our catalogs. Please take one, give you an idea of what goes on over at Ocean County College. All of this can be customized for you. In addition, all of this is being put together in what's going to be released shortly called the municipal program, where these same courses will be offered to municipalities. Now, and I'm going to end with this. The Civil Service Commission has 3 or 4 salespeople running around the state of New Jersey. They come to municipalities, public entities, and they say, we do training. And basically, if you're interested and say, oh, I'd love to have a team workshop, team management. And they say, great, that'll be delivered by your county college. Really? So now they call the New Jersey College Consortium, say, we have Township of Lakewood that would like to do a course. The Township of Lakewood, or the consortium, calls me. And I have to deliver the course. I did 2 of them before I started my own program. And the college made a hot $25 for 2 courses. So we look to make a little dollars to break even, at least, for the cost of our instructor, etc. Thank you for having me. If
Thank
you have any
you, Mike.
questions, please don't
Appreciate it.
hesitate.
Thank you
Yes,
very
sir.
much.
Thank you.
Excellent.
Okay. Comments from the public? Do you have any comments?
Yes,
Okay, comments away.
Name, please, just for the record.
Shloime Klein.
Lot and block, please.
Like a lot.
He knows what
Good, good, good. Okay, what I came to talk over here is about sidewalks. It's constantly coming up, there is an ordinance on the books that every time that somebody builds on a development more than 1,000 square feet, did I do something wrong? No, okay.
The rest is all.
Every time that somebody builds a structure over 1,000 feet, he has to improve the sidewalks. And it doesn't make a difference if it's commercial, residential, neighborhoods, it's all over Lakewood. A lot of times when it comes to the planning board, an application for, especially when you're talking about industrial park, and I'm talking not even industrial park, we had, by the zoning board, this Monday, the water company wanted to do some kind of facility. Now, the engineering department, hope somebody is here from them, they should hear it. He's here, Jeff is here. Did not put it into the review that because they're doing a structure, they have to provide sidewalks. And that is talking not even so much an industrial park, it's talking about Oak Street, Vine Street, by that corner where you're putting in thousands of homes over there. So it's very high dense over there. You made the R10A Oak Street corridor. And they claim this, because it's industrial, we don't have to put in sidewalks. And the attorney of the zoning board agreed with that, because he was trying to protect the engineer for not putting it into the report. I think, again, I think that is wrong. If the engineering department is reading that thing that way, that they're reading it wrong, that they're not responsible, if anybody is building any commercial structure, is not have to only residential, it's wrong because kids are going over there and the ordinance should be fixed. And you as a Lakewood Industrial Commission, I know it might be in your jurisdiction or not, but there is a commercial type of structures that are getting away. We have another one on Oak Street, the entrance to Oak Street corridor. They built a big shopping center. No sidewalks on either side. And this is done through the engineering department, not enforcing it. They claim it's not on the books, or they don't look at the books. I don't want to blame the engineering department, but it seemed like in the consensus was by the zoning board from the engineer that because it's a commercial building, we don't care if kids are going to be there. And I think that is wrong. But again, I'll let you make, I just don't want to go back.
I want my 4 minutes.
Yeah, I know a lot of times you go back and forth and I'm trying to make you look bad. It's not that I respect. There's another point is in industrial park itself. I don't think you will argue on the point that I just said. I know in the next point you will argue. And I respect your opinion, and I think you have good points, but I want to voice my grievances and my different opinion on that. When you go to Airport Road, there's no sidewalks. You go to Cedar Bridge, no sidewalks, even next to schools. I drove down, before I came over here, I took the privilege to drive down Airport Road. And I see a bunch of signs where the turn is over there. Picture of people walking. Danger, people are walking. People are crossing. So I was voicing why there's no sidewalks where the people are walking. The answer is, and I heard this from countless of people that are involved with the Industrial Commission, that we don't want people walking over there. Therefore, that's the way I understood it, that's not the words. But we want that the people walk over there, they should feel uncomfortable, they should get injured, they should get killed, because we don't want to promote pedestrian traffic, no matter if it's from businesses or it's from people who want to take a bike ride over at night in a quiet neighborhood, or people from Leisure Village who want to take a jog over there. We don't want people over there, and therefore if somebody walks over there, danger should take his hell out of him. That's how, it's not the words that they said, I'm saying that words, but that's the way I understood it. I'll give you an example. There was a homeless person killed on Cedar Bridge. What does Lakewood Township do when a homeless person is killed on Cedar Bridge? We like that. Homeless people, we'll get rid of them. What do? We put a billboard over there. Distract drivers even more, like this, maybe more homeless people will be there. I'm just bringing out a point. I know I'm quite. What?
You're out of order.
You're also in the wrong venue.
You're
You're in the wrong venue. This is not the township committee, it's not the planning board, it's not the zoning board. We don't
Decisions
control
about
Cedar Bridge.
decisions about the sidewalks are made before the land use board.
So your point about the industrial park is done? So I just want to
I just
reiterate,
want.
now do it.
I'm just finishing up something else. Has nothing to do with that. I'm out of venue. I know when people don't like what I say, I'm getting out of venue, but it's okay.
It's entertaining.
Like he's saying, it's at least entertainment. So you can't complain on that. You got food over here. You got entertainment. Why are you complaining? Next. The one more thought that I have. the Industrial Commission, a lot of people are asking questions, not so much myself, I see it on the blogs. They're asking what the Industrial Commission is doing. And nobody in the Industrial Commission is coming out like hangars, this, that. It looks, I'll give you an example the way it looks, and don't call me out of any, I want to bring it back to over here. We have now a master plan going on, has nothing to do with this board. But in the master plan, there's one question constantly being asked, why higher density will improve the traffic? And it's not being explained. It's really not being explained. The public looks at it, if you can't explain something, what is the results when you can't explain something is? The public looks at it, it must be corruption. I'm not saying it is, but that's how the public perceives politicians, that they cannot explain what they're doing. The same thing is with the Lakewood Industrial Commission. It has nothing to do with a master plan. But you could get the same idea that if you guys are sitting over here and doing hangars that people in Lakewood have no clue what you're doing, and a lot of stuff that is going on over here, people have no clue what this board exists, and I see the quorum by you is like very good. Everybody is here. I believe not everybody's coming for the food. People are coming because it's an important board, and you're doing important business and spending taxpayer money, or maybe gaining for taxpayer money. I think it would be the right thing is that as a board, you should explain to the public what you guys are doing for the public, and not like people are thinking is like there's high power, the developers and all that are taking in. I see there's something in Cedar Bridge going, where is that lot, block 961, lot 204?
It's in the map, it's inside.
Yeah, where is that?
Aren't we transparent with our minutes?
It's in the area of the Lakewood Baseball Stadium, it's
It's
office
a commercial
building
building, a
areas.
huge
Office buildings are being built on.
Is that where the,
One of the new office buildings that have gone up.
I hear, so you are in charge of that whole thing too. So obviously there's a lot of questions on that too, that was not explained.
Can we respond?
Yes, I am done.
These meetings are held, they're publicized every time, the minutes are put out every time. People want to make assumptions about it, they may, but if they want to be educated, they can come and sit here in the audience to see what happens. This board is about promoting the continuation and the health of the industrial park, which represents about 20% of our local taxes. 20%. Anything that diminishes that tax take comes back out of the residential payers. So the amount of money that has to be raised is the amount of money that has to be raised. For us, the best thing is more of these ratables, because these ratables take no services. They pay for their own garbage pickup. They have very little to minimal to negligible police calls, fire calls, or anybody else. So they're paying full taxes and getting no services. For anybody who doesn't know it, they should do what you did today. Take a ride through the industrial park. See the companies that are there. See the enormous amount of jobs that are represented over there. And understand that it's a tremendous resource to the residents of Lakewood, in that whatever that's producing, they don't have to pay out of pocket. This is not saying taxes are not high. Everybody here who lives in Lakewood and pays taxes knows that taxes are high. But we're trying to protect what is the underpinning of our economic situation here in town, and it needs to be protected. That's our role, which leads me into the question about sidewalks. Nobody wants anybody to get hurt, and on behalf of the board, I resent the implication that what we're saying is we don't want sidewalks so that if anybody dares walk, they should get hit by a truck. What we're saying is that is an environment where there is heavy truck traffic. Heavy trucks, heavy traffic, they're moving, they're under pressure like everybody else, and it's unsafe for pedestrians to be out there. That doesn't mean nobody ever walks on the streets, but it's very important for us to maintain a situation that doesn't encourage it. So if we put sidewalks throughout the place, we'll be inviting more pedestrian traffic. We already encourage every school to have all their operations off the street. Every bus should pull into the lot, whatever schools exist in the park, and discharge students, pick up students, all off the street, because the street is a dangerous place. It's also impactful on the businesses. The more pedestrian traffic you have, the more difficult it is for a truck driver to feel comfortable driving down the road. Every time he's afraid that a child may dart out into the street, it makes those companies think about this is not a hospitable place for an industrial business. I'm not talking about commercial, I'm talking about industrial. In the industrial zone, we want to protect that. That has been the long-standing policy of this board, and I didn't hear anything that you said about anything in the industrial zone, including the thing on the curve on Airport Road. Nothing to tell me that what we really need in Lakewood's industrial parks is more sidewalks. If anybody has a different opinion, it's...
Something I don't understand. I live in Lakewood, I ride the streets all day long, and you ride up Central Avenue, this street, that street, people with strollers are walking the street, and the sidewalks are vacant. It doesn't make any sense, and I'm sure you've seen,
I agree.
you've written. So maybe we need some kind of education on the public also to use the sidewalks, because it's dangerous to be pushing the stroller down the street and there's an empty sidewalk. It doesn't make sense to me.
I don't think it's our, I'm sorry for answering this, but I don't think it's our job, or I don't think it's the town's job to educate the public. I think has to be done in the schools, where children are brought up with their parents. If they don't do their job, I don't think it's your responsibility to do that job. I understand Steve Ryman's argument about they want to protect the industrial, but the way I look at it, I don't have any industrial interest in there. And my taxes are going up regardless if the industrial collapses or not. It's anyways going up. It might not go up so much, but again, I'm not so concerned about my taxes.
Another part of that is those aluminum strips that they should wear at night, because you can't see anybody at night.
But again, that's again educational
Something else
things.
is education.
But the way I look at it
It's not
is,
our-
when you have a road, there's a public right-of-way. And I have a right to drive on Airport Road if I want, right? Because I'm a member of the public. Even if I live in New York, I have a right to ride on it. There's another thing that roads has, and that has to do with right of passage. And that's how right-of-way is, to be able to walk. To walk. To limit me, to say is, we don't want you walking on Airport Road at night, when I want to make some exercise, when I want to make some jogging, when I want to do a bike ride on a quiet road, when there's no traffic, and saying is, we don't want you over there because we want to protect something. We want to, but we are limiting you. We want to limit you to go on the right of way. In my opinion, I understand, Steve, I'm not saying is that he's wrong.
We don't want you in the middle of Route 9 either.
You
Or
can
the
walk-
Garden State Park.
If you want to walk at night, walk by the lake. It's beautiful at night.
There are places.
There are nicer places to walk at night than Airport Road.
Get this for-
But again, you want to limit me to tell me where to
Okay.
walk. I think that a member of the public, you're trying to limit my rights. But I understand this, you're trying to protect the industrial park.
Thank you.
And therefore is, when he makes a comment like this, it's respectful. But when you have some stuff...
We have to call it because it's 4 minutes, we were liberal.
Thank you.
Okay.
Any comments?
Next.
Yeah,
I'll
motion
send it to
to
you electronically.
someone to Holmberg Boulevard, Lakewood, New Jersey, only 771. First of all, good morning. On the nickel of the LIC, I'd like to take this opportunity. It is September 13th. I'd like to wish a very special happy birthday to our very own committeeman, Mike Delia. Many more years
How
of...
you found out, but thank you.
How does it feel to be 65?
I
58.
am wishing you more years of happiness, health,
Thank you.
and all that comes along with it. First of all, regarding the resurfacing project, sorry that I missed the last couple of meetings. I do want to say thank you very much to this board specifically, even though I know that the resurfacing project on Tobin and the other industrial roads had, you partnered with the county, and the county got the job done, but I believe that this board, the buck stopped here, because had you not said yes to this, it wouldn't have worked out for us, so I do want to thank this board. It shows that this board cares about their industrial clients, I don't know what you call them, over there. I understand there was a mix-up that there was work done on Oberlin yesterday. The police had to stop it, had to be rescheduled. I hope it wasn't the fault of this board, but in any case, I thank you for doing your part. Just two more quick points. So I learned a couple months ago that when a site plan review goes to the planning board, it comes here first, and you have one of those things on for today's agenda. As Mr. Ryman said so eloquently, this board is here to promote and protect the industrial usages as much as you can. So my question is, I don't know if there's anything you could do about this. I spoke to the planning board staff and they didn't really know if there's any way to fix this. I also spoke to Anita a month ago. She didn't know if it could be fixed, but the only site plans that come here are the ones that go to the planning board. So you're basically looking at something that's already in your zone and just saying if it works for you. Now, without mentioning names, there was a guy who went to the zoning board 3 months ago and wanted to put retail and industrial zone. Now, I know with the schools, I know you try to do whatever you can. Now, at that time, the zoning board told the guy to go fly a kite. But not me speaking, the chairman of the zoning board said, why did this not go to the LIC first? Now, I spoke to Anita 2 months ago. She told me we only get the planning board stuff. I'm just not, I'm not sure how this all works out. I mean, perhaps you can talk to the town council, because I'm not sure who's the one in charge. The planning board staff told me that the list of those, like the JCP, who gets every site plan as well, she told me that the list that it goes to has been around since before she's been here. I'm just saying, if there's any way that you can get the zoning board applications as well, if someone's wants to try to put a retail thing in the middle of your zone, you should have a say in it, okay? I mean, if there's anything, right? And if I had one more second, I know you have dealt in the past with on-street parking by schools. I'm not sure if you ever came to any conclusion about that. I just wanted to ask if there's any way, because I know you said you tried as much as you can to get the schools to do the whole loading off street. The thing is like this, if someone wants to do a change of use in town, I don't know exactly in the industrial zones if it works the same way as the rest of the town, but basically if you have a house, you want to make it into a school, you get a change of use / site plan exemption, and since it's not like a full site plan, things get a little bit lost in the system. I know because I'm trying to work my way through the system. We have a school, take care of a trailer, and between
It's 4 minutes if we could wrap it up, okay?
Yeah, the thing does is that when someone does a change of use, and then they put in trailers, it seems like if you drive down Swarthmore or something, that they're not putting in parking lots. Or they're not putting in enough parking lots. I know you're trying to get the schools to do the buses inside, but if the cars,
Thank you.
Hey, thank you.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Any other comments from the
What did he
public?
say?
Okay.
Motion to close the public portion?
Closing the public portion. Move it. Motion to close the public portion. All right, motion to close the public. Seconded. Who first?
Mr. Stafford.
Okay. All right, all in favor? Nays? None? Okay. I think we're up to executive director's report.
Oh.
Thank God.
You're gonna go to close right now, or?
No. I'm just gonna go real quick.
Okay.
Where do you go?
Okay.
Before we throw them out, I'd like to
Quick.
talk with them.
Okay, quick update on the tea hangers. They will have a final walkthrough later this week, and we're looking to finally get people moved in by the end of the month, so starting October, we'll be hopefully fully occupied. On the next item, the zoning, the safe zone. This board is the board that originally proposed what is the ABCD zone, and that made the recommendation for something called safe zone. The ABC zone, as some of you may know, had a procedural flaw, and so it was overturned. It's being reintroduced as part of the master plan, and in reviewing the map with some local businesses, we discovered that the map snakes around Airport Road, but stops by Oak Street, and it does not include the rest of Airport Road. And while we do not want to extend the airport business commercial district up Oak Street, and with its restrictions to only commercial businesses, we do want to hit Bennett Boulevard, which is completely commercial now. We just want to protect that. And I think Como, used to be Gusberg Drive, it only has 2 buildings in it, but there are 2 buildings that house serious industrial use. There are no other side streets. Airport Road is Airport Road. It's all commercial in that area, and I think that was the intent, which was to protect it. So I wanted to get the board's support for asking the planning board to consider just extending the map, just to stretch it along Airport Road. There's actually a map here. I'll just pass it down. shot. After you come around from Fluid Pack, Fluid Pack, to Church and Dwight, then you come to, when you come to the water tower, that's Oak Street.
Yes,
But when you go past it, you have Bennett Boulevard on the left where FedEx is.
yes.
And then a little further on the right, you have Como Drive, where Como Manufacturing is, a company that came back from China. So if you just take a look at the map, you'll see it's actually, the idea there is to just complete the curve of Airport Road, so it comes up, the last properties on Airport Road that fronts on 70, which I believe are zone B5, or B5A, whatever that.
How'd you get
zone
that?
is.
You're in the back.
It's on the list.
Oh, there it is.
Okay.
So, what I would ask is maybe, I'm not sure what's the right form, if it's just indicated for me to communicate it, or if they need to take a resolution of that. Okay. Okay, fine. So unless anybody has an objection, I'd like to make that recommendation to T&M, the planners who are helping the town with the master plan, and have that communicated to the planning board, that the idea is to just stretch the airport road designation.
If necessary, I'll make that a motion.
Okay.
You don't have to take a
He
vote.
says no vote necessary, just an indication from you.
What about the safe zone?
In the future. It's not in the master plan. The ABCD zone is in the master plan, and we'll take it, we'll take it for now.
We could.
Eventually.
All right.
Quick update, I did speak with Mr. Schwarzblatt, that's the property that we sold on Cedar Bridge and Airport Road, just across Airport Road, 1608 Lot 2. He's been wading his way through the various boards, county, local, and they're waiting for one more approval from the state, which should be imminent. And as soon as that happens, they're going to go in and break ground, so that's good news. See another really nice gateway project coming up. And lastly, Mr. Zinas mentioned it, the repaving project. The county does have the Schedule C program. They do it in some towns, some larger scale, some smaller scale. Lakewood has not done a lot with it in recent years, but through Tom Henshaw and Patrick Donnelly from the Public Works, we were able to get the county to come in to do a good stretch of Tobin, of Oberlin, Bennett Boulevard, and Swarthmore that are going to get addressed now. The chairman and I actually did a drive-through and identified a number of other areas for whatever the next phase will be that we can do. So it's a really nice program, and it's a very practical way to, first of all, make it easier and better and safer for people to move through the industrial parks. And it also says something to the businesses in the industrial park that we're doing something for them and we're caring about them. They pay a lot, and they don't always see the direct return. So this is a really good program. And as Mr. Zinas pointed out, this board does not control the scheduling of that. That works through the township, but even the township is at the mercy of the county in terms of their scheduling. Road crews don't typically come in at 11 a.m. because that's after rush hour. They're usually in the morning to knock it out, and they do a beautiful job. But I believe that to accommodate the town and the difficulties with some of the schools in the area, they've delayed the continuation of the project till early October. So hopefully we'll see the conclusion.
I do have personal experience that the county does care about the school situation. They probably just weren't. I was involved in a paving project recently on James Street, and I asked the contractor, like, why are you in such a big rush? He says the county warned us, you better get this done before school starts. It was a week before school and said you have to get it done. So they probably just were not made aware that.
For years, the county has worked with us to try and schedule any kind of major repaving project during intercession or off-season and so on for the schools. I guess in this case, just, they may have thought because it's in the industrial zone, they don't have to deal with that, but now they do different. Everything else I have is for executive.
My report is executive section.
Okay. Is there correspondence?
Correspondence that we received was just a notice of planning board hearing on the box 961 lot 2.04. which is one lot, and they're going to create 2 commercial lots on that. It's basically a major subdivision approval. There was notification provided to us as owners of the stadium property. No action is requested from us on that one, it was just notification.
That's, we have a number of really beautiful buildings that are going up there that could really enhance the industrial park. And it's interesting, throughout the state, office demand is not just dwindling, it's sinking like a stone. But in Lakewood, for some reason, it's still in high demand, so it's something for us to keep our eye on as people build more and more top-notch Class A office buildings. Thankfully, most of them are being built with either a lot of it pre-leased or a lot of times it's a lot of owner-occupied, and then they just have a little bit to supplement. But so far, it's really, really nice projects. So let's go 14 market lights.
Move on to committee reports.
Mr. Flansbaum is out of the office, but the Industrial Commission Site Review Committee did review site plan number 2240 on 640 Cross Street.
That's the one requiring the setback from the road.
Yes.
Yes.
Some concern with the potential widening for Cross Street that was allegedly 18 to 24 months out. How close that's going to move that to the front of the road. And I think one of the other comments said it should be pretty much kept in line with the other buildings that are along that road. Bob, you had commented on that as well.
Just concerned about the alignment, staying.
The alignment.
It shouldn't project towards Cross Street. They should be
Uniformity.
parallel with each other,
Right.
or flush, or whatever.
Heavy stuff.
They said there's a retention basin in the way or something?
Yes.
There is a retention
Retention
basin.
basin on the front.
Yeah.
Maybe they can move that to the rear. What's the road going to do with that?
We made our comments.
We
We
made
make our recommendations to the planning board and the planning board accept, reject. They do whatever they
They're
want.
aware.
So
It's an advisory. Passing.
So,
It's in play, it's just information.
all right. Nothing to do with that, right?
No action required at this point.
Committee committees reporting.
Saved by the bell.
It's not doing that.
That's just like the shade tree doing
Okay.
That's how much
Right,
they
that
respect
concludes
us.
committee reports. I think
What do you want to hear about that?
marketing and public relations.
We had a long delay. I had met Greg Oliver on the board of an HR group, and I met him there. And he is the HR director for SS White Dental. That's a company that's in the industrial park. They produce dental burrs worldwide. He said they're known throughout the planet. They've been in the industrial park for 30 years. And I finally got an interview with him. I typed up the transcript and have sent him the press release, or at least for our Lakewood Industrial Commission newsletter. They employ about 225 to 300 people at that company. And he's very happy with Lakewood, and they've increased the size of their facility and done some other things. They also, you might be interested in this, have just completed an ESL1 program
We provided it.
for 10 people, and they're now going to be taking ESL2. So we have a nice informational report coming out about SS White Dental. And I guess I put out the information about the road repaving. We have information about your programs for our next newsletter. And if you have anything you'd like me to include, don't hesitate, let me know. I'll be happy to publicize it.
Thank you, Fran.
You're welcome.
Okay. Any old business?
None.
Any new business?
None.
Any monkey business?
Funny.
Okay, all right.
Motion.
Motion to go into closed session.
Move it.
Seconded. All in favor?
Going back to open afterwards?
Thank you everyone for attending.
I'd like to read this resolution into the minutes, whereas section 17 of the Center of Environmental permits the exclusion of the public from the meeting under circumstances, and whereas this industrial commission is
Quick question, because
Now therefore be resolved by the industrial
They did it again, huh?
Is
there anything that fits to us, or we just have to sign up
Public
for
shall be
those?
free to discussion in private and confidential matters involving any of the matters.
Two girls in the office.
Of said law and as specified. Recreation for the subject matter to be discussed is as follows.
Thanks for
I have a guy,
See you
I
next
have a
time.
apprenticeship guy in the plumbing
Stated
business.
subject matter will be
Two
made
plumbing
public only when
apprenticeships.
the
No,
reason for discussing matters
How are you?
and I got one HVACR.
said apprenticeship.
I'm looking more for like office management.
This resolution shall take effect. Time now is.
Well, I'm paying for it. No, I'm paying for it, yeah. They don't pay you for that.